We've all heard it before. Just be yourself. Whether it's your parents telling you that you're fine just the way you are, or a girl telling you to just be yourself, every single one of us has been told this before. It's become sort of a statement that people celebrate these days, probably because it kind of feels like a warm hug. Just be yourself, and everything's going to be okay. It feels kind of empathetic and understanding. It's like, yeah, you're right. I can just be myself. That sounds fantastic. I don't have to be anything that I'm not, right? The reality is, it's not that simple. Nobody maintains the same demeanor in every situation. Your behavior when you're hanging out with friends over a beer will be noticeably different compared to when you're around your mom. When you're at a job interview, you'll be proper, professional, and way more personable than when you're just relaxing on the couch trying to watch something on Netflix. We do this because different situations call for different aspects of our personality. In some cases, it is important to adopt a professional demeanor, while in others, friendliness and humor may be more valuable qualities to express. The point I'm trying to make is, are we ever really ourselves? What does it even mean to be ourselves? And is it something we should strive to be? Just be yourself has become something we have been conditioned to believe is true based on repetition. Maybe Walt Disney got us all believing that we should just be ourselves, follow our heart and our passion, and all our dreams will come true. Here's the reality. These are all gobbledygook birthday card sentiments that sound very comforting but don't really mean anything, and lack practical application in the real world. We hear these things so often that they've become utterly meaningless. Nobody's life was ever changed by someone saying to them, "Hey, just follow your passion." Most people you talk to have no idea what their passion is. They probably have numerous interests, but there's a lot of pressure in the idea of, just find your passion and everything's going to work out. This is because people often get trapped in analysis paralysis, trying to figure out which of their passions to pursue. What's going to be the one thing that makes everything click? This follow your passion thing is a topic we will discuss in a future video. People tend to agree with these taglines, not because they're particularly instructive, but because they sound like they mean well and are very easy to swallow. It's never challenging or uncomfortable to believe that the answer to all our problems is to just be more of ourselves, whatever that means. Depending on who you are, just be yourself could actually be the most destructive advice imaginable, or it could actually be good advice. However, in most cases, the former tends to hold true. This is particularly evident when dealing with men. In this video, we are going to discuss why just be yourself is the most destructive advice for men. Most men in our society aren't really taught how to be functional men. So say that there's a young man who is not in good shape, isn't happy, doesn't have any money, and isn't emotionally stable. What would telling him to just be yourself do? Do you think it would inspire him to put in the work to improve his physique or develop a success-oriented mindset? Not at all. Telling him to just be himself would cripple his growth and give him a justification to just remain a lazy slug. When you tell someone who is not very successful to just be themselves, they typically view it as an excuse to avoid change. Why bother going to the gym when you should just be yourself? Why meditate to become more focused when you should just be yourself? Why put effort into your appearance when you should just be yourself? Do you see why this advice is destructive? By telling a naive person to just be themselves, you remove any and all reason for them to change. The phrase "just be yourself" is inherently defeatist. The word "just" implies yourself is something to just be. It's a reality to regress back to. It encourages you to stop reaching and stop pursuing and just be you because you are good enough as you are. It's an inherently pessimistic statement that doesn't want the best for you. A statement that doesn't care about your ideals or your conception of a brighter future. It's a statement that encourages you to stop growing. But riddle me this. Why just be yourself when you can be so much more? You might think that always striving for more means that you'll never be content with who you are, and you'll always be searching for something that you could find in the present moment. While I understand this argument, the reality is, it's very short-sighted. It doesn't take into account the bigger picture of the human psyche, that is, yes, we do need to feel satisfied and happy with what we have. But at the same time, we need motivation to attain the things we don't already have. It's the only reason you're alive right now. Motivation is something that causes us to take action, and that will never change. We will always be motivated to do something. The question is, what are we motivated to do? Is it to binge-watch movies on Netflix, play video games, scroll social media, or is it to do the work required to level up in life? Whatever it is, the point is that your motivation is being channeled into something. Since we have this profound desire to achieve things we haven't already achieved, or to obtain things we don't already possess, What better goal is there to channel our motivation towards than becoming the best version of ourselves? This way, we can become more capable individuals, better equipped to navigate the hardships of life, who can also help others overcome the hardships in their lives. Essentially, we would be making the world a better place by striving to be the best we can be. Men must create their value, and in order to become a high-value man who is successful in different areas of life, you must realize that just being yourself isn't good enough. However, this doesn't mean you should throw away your core values and principles, or that you should loathe yourself for being born a certain way. As paradoxical as it may sound, both can coexist. You can strive to be the best that you can be, refusing to settle for just being yourself while having self-compassion and remaining true to who you are as a person. Understand that while it's essential to make peace with yourself and accept your inherent flaws, it's equally important to continuously strive for self-improvement. Time doesn't stand still, so if you're not making progress, you're inadvertently moving backward by default. Do not misunderstand it. I'm not saying you should become consumed by an unhealthy obsession with change. However, recognizing your untapped potential and feeling frustrated about your current situation is completely normal. There is nothing wrong with being angry about the fact that you aren't where you want to be. Use that anger as fuel to get there. Many of us display undesirable behaviors that we believe are inherent to our personality, but more often than not, these behaviors are learned through traumatic experiences or the roles we adopt when interacting with friends and family. You'd be surprised how many aspects of your personality are improvable. You might think that certain quirks are just a part of who you are, but consider the fact that you can actually work on improving them. By modifying your behaviors and thought patterns, you can better align them with your goals and well-being. Many traits that you might have thought were inherent to your personality are often a result of your upbringing and past experiences, and may not contribute positively to your long-term growth and success. Now, going back to what I said earlier about also having self-compassion and remaining true to who you are as a person, don't confuse self-compassion with complacency. For instance, imagine having a close friend who went off the deep end and is behaving in hurtful ways, pushing you and others away. Seeing this, you're like, what gives? This guy has changed, and I don't know if I want to be around him anymore. I really care about him, but for now, I have to distance myself. If this person were to come up to you sincerely and say, hey, look, I realized my behavior was out of line. I didn't really realize it at the time, but it's become clear to me that I need to change. My words and my actions are hurting me and others, and I'm ready to change. Would you say, no, it's okay, just be yourself, you do you? Of course not. You would say, I understand where you're coming from, but your behavior was out of line. I appreciate that you recognize it too, and because I care about you, I want to support you in becoming the best version of yourself. This will not only benefit you but also help you build better relationships with others. And it's funny because loving that person isn't just permitting them to do their thing and be who they are with no accountability. That's complacency. Since you care about that person, you want to help them be the best version of themselves. You should want the same for yourself too. It's important to have dignity and act in a way that is congruent with someone who is on their own side and wants the best for themselves. A lot of the time, we don't treat ourselves with the dignity we deserve. The behaviors, habits, and thought patterns that many of us have, which we've had for as long as we can remember, are proving over time to not serve us and to be destructive. Maybe we learned these tendencies through childhood, and they're just a part of who we are, but they are leading us to the brink of doom. We gain no traction in our lives living like this. Nothing's working. Should we just be ourselves then? Ask yourself this. Are your thoughts, behaviors, and habits truly benefiting you? Who do you ideally want to be, and what can you do to help yourself become somebody of strength? The reality is, when we begin to prioritize our future and find meaningful goals to pursue, only then will our satisfaction with the present moment start to grow. This effect becomes particularly pronounced when we've been dedicated to this path for an extended period. Reflecting on our journey and acknowledging the progress we've made can offer a comforting reminder of how far we've come, as well as fill us with reassurance and motivation to keep pushing to become who we aspire to be. Self-satisfaction can't exist in a vacuum. So rather than just be yourself, maybe the answer is to love yourself enough to become something more, to be the best version of yourself. If you're naturally athletic but lack intelligence, work on enhancing your intellect by reading books and watching educational videos like these. If you're intelligent but lack physical strength, concentrate on improving your physique by lifting weights and doing cardio exercises a few days a week. And remember, whatever the situation may be, it's crucial that you find a way to enjoy the process, because if you don't, staying committed to the journey will become exceedingly challenging. If this video was helpful, Don't forget to hit the like button, and I'll see you in the next video.